welcome to episode 25 of the WhotKnot podcast. My name is Kathy. I am an incomplete quadriplegic after a car accident in 2007, and as part of my occupational therapy I like to do as much art and craft as I can, and that's what this podcast is all about. All the things that I get up to, and there's plenty. I've got quite a few finished objects for you guys this week. I've got Buddy here, naughty Buddy, so I'm hoping he's going to be a good boy. He's all set to have a snooze on my lap, which is where he likes to sit when I'm in the craft room. I've got my tea, and I've even got it in my Chinese mug, and I like that because that helps to keep it nice and warm, because you know, when you're crafting away, you've made yourself a cup of tea, go to drink it stone cold every time. Alright, so welcome back everybody, and welcome to all the new subscribers. We've had quite a few in the last month, or last 2 weeks really, so that's been really nice. I'm glad everyone is enjoying the podcast. I am going to try and slow down a bit this week. I noticed when I was editing last fortnight's podcast, I was like a chipmunk on steroids. That's how my brain works most of the time, and at full pelt. So I just need to slow down, take my time, show things properly. So I'll get there. So I'm just gonna calm down a bit. Alright, so I have got quite a few finished objects, and one of them is extremely exciting. In fact, I'm a bit late filming today because I madly finished knitting it this morning. I was very keen to show you guys, so I've washed it. I've had it blocking. It's not 100% dry, but it's near enough to show it. So let's get stuck into it. Right, now the first thing that I've got to show you, and this is my little thistle down rabbit that I finished making. So she is all finished. She looks so pretty. She's got her little scarf on. She's carrying a little teddy bear there, and she's got a little carrot in her pocket, and I've sewn some little carrot stripes and things like that. It is a bit overcast today. It's been a bit wet and windy and wild. In fact, we've had all the seasons in one day today. It was really sunny, and I thought, oh, I'll go in the pool this afternoon, and then I looked out the window. A few minutes later it was pouring down. It's been so windy that our outdoor setting is actually blowing around. So I have actually put a muffler on my microphone, so I'm hoping that doesn't muffle my voice too much, but I'm hoping it does block out some of this windy weather we've got going on outside. But yeah, this little girl is all finished. She's got a new home to go to, and she'll be heading off there this week. The yarn that her scarf is knit out of is one that I dyed ages and ages ago, and I used it in one of my shawls that I've knit last year. In the pattern, she doesn't do the embroidery on the hat there, but I can't help myself. I've always got to do a little bit extra. So yeah, she's super cute, and as I said, this is a thistle down rabbit, and the design is by Simone. Just let me put my glasses on. Simone Gooding, May Blossoms. I think she is on Instagram. So the pattern was extremely easy, very straightforward, very explanatory. The pieces are a little bit fiddly. You sew them on the machine, and then you've got to turn them in the right way, obviously, and then stuff them. And because some of the pieces are small, they're kind of hard to turn inside out, but as you can see, it is doable. And just for cuteness effect, I folded that ear just down slightly and just caught it with a couple of stitches there in the middle and on that side, just to give her a little bit of a quirkiness. But there she is, and the pattern doesn't say to put blush on them, but I am an over blusher, and if I've got blush on, I need to find something else to put blush on, and this girl was in line. So yes, she's all done. I got the felt from Sally Dixon Creations on Etsy, Sally Dixon Creations, and it's 100% wool. And if you're making these little felted animals, it's best to use the 100% wool, because when you're stuffing them and things like that, it doesn't stretch, and you won't get an explosion somewhere. So yep, she's all done, and Alison, she is yours. So yep, she's done. Now the next thing that I finished, I got my husband to cut the timber out for my cross stitch. I put the frame on it like I said I was going to do, and I just sewed that nice fabric around the edge of it. I measured the fabric. The way I got this even was I went around with a ruler, measured a centimetre down, cut my fabric, and then lined it up so that when I flipped it over it would be exactly the same measurement all the way around. I just did it as if you're going to edge a quilt, and I did the corners like that. This was actually the second piece of timber that my husband cut out, because the first piece was a bit small, so I had to get him to do it again, and this piece was a tiny bit big, but I've made it work. I just stretched it a bit more. It has got some wadding on it there, so it's got a little bit of a squish factor, and yeah, it's got some really nice details in the cross stitch itself. It's a nice one to do because you don't have to sort of keep your place. Usually you've got enough time to finish a tree or a fox or a mushroom, and then you know where you're up to for the next time you come. There was only about 4 colours total used in this whole thing, but yeah, so that will be going on the wall in the craft room somewhere. And what I did on the back of it, just to cover up where I'd stretched it, and my husband actually helped me because I didn't have enough strength to do the staples like you do on upholstery. So we pulled it, and he stapled all around the edge of it to hold it in place. And just to cover up all that kind of messiness, I didn't have a piece of felt, so this is actually a piece of bag wadding. I just PVA glued it onto the back there, and he's going to put a little hook on it, and yeah, so I was pretty happy with how that turned out. And I've actually got another one of these cross stitches somewhere in the deep dark depths that I would like to get onto at some point this year. So that's on my list of projects to do at some point. So that's that one. And then I finished my watercolour, which there's a couple of things with relation to this that I want to talk to you about. Also, thanks so much for all the feedback on my watercolour tutorial last fortnight. I know a few of you have gone out and bought brushes and paints and things like that, and my cogs are already turning for the next one that we're going to do, and that'll be on the next episode. But yeah, so I'll thank you to everybody that was positive about that. And on the frog note, thanks to everybody that had a comment about the camel toe last week. Sorry about that, guys. Like I said, my brain was just on fire, and I wasn't really concentrating so much on what I was saying. But yeah, this is my watercolour. The colours look a bit blotchy on the camera, so I hope that they look alright when I'm editing. But yep, froggy. And I am actually trying to do a bit more painting this year. So I have downloaded an app, and what they do is it's an art group app, and I don't normally pay for these things, but I've actually paid $7.95 for that app. And what they do is they post a picture every day, and you have a go at drawing it. Any medium you like. You can use pastels, pencils, just do a sketch. I'm trying to take my watercolour painting to another level, so I'm doing my watercolour, and they sort of have a look at it, and you know, other artists that are on the app can have a look at your work and give you feedback. So I've done that. They put up a picture every day, and I'm trying to do it every day. I will say I'm not finding the pictures overly inspirational, but I'm forcing myself to do them, except for today. They put a guy up today who looked like a complete sleaze, and I said to my daughter, I draw the line there. I'm not painting that guy, so I'm not doing it today. But I did do it the first day. They seem to do a lot of people, which is good because that's not my strong suit. So this was my first attempt at the first picture that they put up. I'll put that over to this side, and when I'm editing, oh god, look at me all over the place again. When I'm editing, I'll put the picture up that they gave as the inspiration. So that's the first one that I've finished. And I'm keeping them all in this book, and I'm dating them so that I can have a look back. This lady with her pink glasses, again, I'll hold it to this side of the screen so that I can put the corresponding picture up. So that was the second day that I've done it. My husband actually found this app, and he said that he thought I would be interested in it. I'm quite happy. I feel like I've gone a bit patchy. She looks like she's got a 5 o'clock shadow. And this eye behind this glasses is a bit wonky, and I tried to cover it up a bit by sort of making it dark. But yeah, there's a few things to improve on. Anyway, so yesterday was this picture, and I was really happy with this because, to be honest, I've never actually painted a black woman to get the skin tone and everything correct, and I feel like she has come out the best so far. Again, I'll put the picture to the side so you can see what I was working from. So yeah, I am challenging myself, apart from Mr. Sleaze today. I am challenging myself to do a watercolour every day. So there was that. And last week, in my For Me From Me section, I told you I bought this book. And I'm back to tell you guys, don't buy it. It's not a watercolour book at all. I've done a few of them in it just to test it out. I've done more than one to make sure I gave it a go. What they've actually done here is they've textured the surface of the paper like watercolour paper is, and called it watercolour paper, but it's not. It has like a coating on the top of the paper that means that the watercolour doesn't sink into the paper. Now I can't find the picture that I painted. There it is. I've done two. So it actually, so that's the first one that I painted. I mean, it looks quite nice and everything like that, but it's not watercolour. The paints, as I said, normally with watercolour the paper is very absorbent and the colours absorb and blend together. It all sits on the surface. In fact, I reckon if I wet my finger and rub that, it would just completely rub off. So I did that one. And where's the other picture that I did? I should have marked these. There it is, last picture. I've done that one. So, I mean, the pictures were quite nice. If you're looking for something for colouring in with pencils or pastels, I think it would be quite good. But yeah, felt like I needed to say something since I did talk about it last week, and I did feel like I needed to say that if you're looking for a watercolour book, don't buy that. So yeah, that was all the things I had to talk about with the watercolour. And for the big news, the big news is you guys that have been watching for a little while, and seriously, there's a few of you that have binged watched every episode and have messaged me to tell me that you're up to date. All I can say, guys, is I'm sorry about those early episodes, but thanks for watching them. And I'm glad you've made it through to here and joining us now. So, yeah, gold medal to you guys. So, yes, I have been talking about designing my own shawl, and I've done it. Bottom line, I've done it. I've got it finished. I have been knitting like a mad woman on it over the last 2 weeks to get it done, and I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I feel very proud of myself, and it's okay to be proud of yourself, that A, I've done it, and B, it's finished. There are a few tweaks. I don't know, anybody that's my vintage, that might have been at school, primary school in the 70s, might remember if you were writing a letter or something to somebody, you had to do a rough copy, and then an adult would go over it, check your grammar, check your spelling, and then you would have to do your good copy. Well, I'm calling this my rough copy, and my plan is I'm going to have a 2-week break because I'm actually doing a test knit as well, which I'll talk to you about in a minute, and get a few of those bits done, and then I am going to start my good copy, and I have to make a few adjustments, and I'll tell you why. Buddy, you're going to have to hop off, mate. Hop off. Good lad. So I'll move back here. I'm hoping to be able to show it to you without destroying everything. So I'll move back. Let's see if I can get... So this is how it looks from a distance. I'll show you the details of it close up. So that's it. Yep, it's a monster. It's a big one. So I haven't actually measured it from point to point. It is, as I said, it is actually still a little bit damp. I am calling this my Friends Are Like Flowers shawl. So, yep, that's it from a distance. And now I'll show you some of the details. I'll get up in your grill. All right, so let me put my glasses on because this is serious business. So we'll start off. Showed you my cast on last week. I did a lousy job at showing you my cast on, and you may be able to see rusty fur on this. Just disregard that. He sheds like you would not believe. So my cast on here, this is the cast on. Let me get this straight. And I was really happy with how that turned out. And it's a little I-cord starter, and then you build it from there. So there's a lot of garter stitch in this shawl and some stocking stitch, and then there is 4 main sections. So as you can see from the tip, we're going through, this is Susan's yarn from Ash and Eve Designs in her 4-ply sock base. This is a 4-ply knit on 4mm needles. And then I started, this is all the sock yarn, self-striping sock yarn, up to this pink section. The pink section is my yarn. As I said, the self-striping yarn is also Susan's yarn. That is a ball of yarn that she gifted our knitting group at Christmas time. Then you move into this section, which now that it's blocked out, I think these flowers really come into their own. When you knit them, they look a bit bunchy, a bit squashed up, and you think that they don't really show up very well. But now that it's blocked, I think that they really, really look nice and clearly flowers. So Yep, that section. So that would be one section, or section 1. And then moving into section 2, this is actually a pattern that I designed myself because I had a few requests last year to demonstrate the backward knitting, and I thought this is a great opportunity not only for me to demonstrate it, but for you guys to try it if you're interested. So that is one row, that is all knit in one row, and you back and forth knit. And my idea with that was, I hope I'm not jigging this around too much, that they look like leaves wafting across the shawl. So the background there is stockinette, and I'll talk about, at this point, the end of this stockinette section is the end of the increasing. And then the stitch count remains the same through until the end. But as you can see, you are gradually moving the spine of the shawl off to the left-hand side here till it fades away. Once the spine hits the edge of the shawl, you're done. So the next section, and I'll be doing little videos when I do the next one on how to do some of these stitches, because there's a couple of stitches in there that are a little bit tricky, but it's only for a small section and it'll save us all from dementia if we test our brains. So as you can see, they're like flowers in the garden. When I do the next one though, I'm not going to leave the little section there. I would have, in hindsight, I thought it might give the lace a bit of breathing space, so to speak, but I feel like now looking at it, it would have been better if I had finished it at the top of that flower instead of having those couple of rows that I've done there. And as you can see from the size of this shawl, I need to reduce the size of it by a small amount, and I'll tell you about the yardage that I've used in this in a minute. So yeah, that lovely daisy pattern with the nubs. As you can see, the nubs are three-dimensional. They're not done like, what do they call them, the little balls. They're actually done in a stitch, so they sit nicely. So the last section of the lace work, and for those that watched last week, they know that part of the inspiration for this, for me, was the little doll that my grandma knit, which I've got right here. She knit the outfit for this little doll, and she included a little motif on the bottom there of some flowers. And I thought, perfect. I am going to include those as well as a nod to my grandmother. So I have included that pattern in this section here. So that's all the little flowers along there. Then you continue on with your striping, and it varies in thickness and the colours and things like that, right through to the top. And then the cast off edge is also these little flowers. Let's see if they show up. So it's a cast off of the flowers there along that edge, and that's everything. So that's my Friends I Like Flowers wrap. And Mill said to me, where did you come up with that name? And I said to her, well, I told her about Susan gifting us the yarn, and Susan is a friend of mine, and Nicole gifted me a lovely flower for my birthday. So also I love flowers, and it made me think of when I was in primary school, we learnt a song called Friends I Like Flowers, and if I had a great singing voice, I'd belt out that tune to you right now. But it's basically called Friends I Like Flowers, and I'll put a link to YouTube, because I actually found some people singing it. it should be a cheerful song. Some of these people are not singing it in a cheerful manner, but we learnt it as a cheerful song. And it's really quite a cute song. So I'll link it below if you're interested to check that out. But the other thing that I've done is I've done a faux I-cord all the way along the edge, so it's nice and neat. It's not a full I-cord, but I'll show you which section is going to show up well on the camera. So it's got a nice neat I-cord all the way around the edge of it on both sides. And yeah, but as I've said, it's very big, and luckily for me I had 2 balls of the sock yarn, although I have got some of that left. I haven't grabbed it, it's just over there. Just excuse me a minute, I'll grab it. My trolley. Got my trolley just there. I just push it out of shot because it's not very glamorous. That was all I had left of the ball of sock yarn. Really nice colours in that. And from this deep plummy purple section, luckily I had 2 skeins of that because I used up the whole skein and a bit. I think I got to about halfway through this last garter section and I ran out. So as I said, had to ball up a whole skein of yarn to do about another half a dozen rows, but that also took quite a lot of yardage. And from the pink yarn I had nothing left. I had about 30 centimetre thread of it left. So I know Susan's pretty generous with her skeins and things like that. And some skeins are larger than others, so I know I need to reduce the size of it. So my plan is to reduce the size of it by 8 stitches. I've done a bit of a calculation, so 8 stitches should bring it in sufficiently on the width, and it will also knock it down about 16 rows on the top section here. So none of the pattern will change, all the patterns can still be included. It'll just mean that this section here is about half the size, and I think that'll still work quite well. So yeah, that's all finished. I feel very happy to have it finished. I am really happy with how it turned out. This is the first thing that I've ever, knitwear wise, that I've ever designed, so I keep looking at it in the monitor because it looks, I feel like it looks even better on the monitor than it does in real life. Yeah, so that's my shawl, and that's pretty much everything there is for it. So phase 2 of this little exercise is going to be the good copy. So I've picked out some yarn for that, and I'm going to do a couple of other things over the next 2 weeks. I hope the lighting isn't too much different because it's just gone real gloomy outside, so I've just had to put my overhead lights on, which can be a little glary, so I'm hoping that's not too much. But anyway, yes, so Julia is going to do a test knit, and she's 9craft11 on Instagram. I'm going to knit this through again and send each section to mill as I write it up, or write up the good copy, and she's going to tech edit it. So I was toing and froing with all the yarns, what will I knit it out of, and I dyed up a whole heap. I'll show you the ones that I dyed that I'm not going with. So this was a set that I dyed and I thought looked quite nice, but yeah, they didn't sort of say flowers to me, so they didn't make the cut, but this is what I have gone with. I got this ball of yarn in my advent from Lollies Yarns. As I said, I've put my overhead lights on and the colour is showing up quite vivid. But yep, so I got that in my advent and I've dyed up these two to go with it. So I think they look quite nice. I think they're going to look quite nice together. Put that one on top. I feel like they look very summery, flowery, springy colours. So yeah, that's on my agenda. So yes, that's all I've got in the way of finished objects. But that was a mission to get that shawl finished for you guys today. But as I said, I'm glad I've done it, and that's that. So what have I got next? I've got a few whips. One of them is a test knit, and I did contact the lady and asked her if I could talk about it on the podcast, and she didn't get back to me in time. So what I'm going to do is I'll just briefly talk to you about it and show you a picture, but next week I'll have definite clearance and I can go into a lot more detail. So I've picked these two yarns out of my stash and I'm going to hold them double, and the bottom one is BC Garn Silk Bloom, and I knit my, what was it? Well, I can't remember the name of it. I'll put it on the screen, the name of it, out of the bottom one. And the brown mohair is just one that I've had in my stash. But yeah, as I said, the beigey coloured one is BC Garn Silk Bloom Fino. So the pattern calls for an 8-ply. I am holding those together to create an 8-ply, and she sent me the details for the first part of it, and that's the fabric that it's creating. So it's very fluffy. I will put a picture in because she does have an Instagram account and she's got them on her Instagram. So I'll put a picture in of what we are knitting. But as I said, I will give you more details in 2 weeks' time when I've got the actual go-ahead to talk about it. But I'm working on that. Whoops, my magnet's grabbed onto my paint palette there. I showed you this last fortnight, and I have started work on this guy. Gosh, I think we're going to be in for a big thunderstorm. It's looking extremely grim out there. And this is what I've got so far. Yeah, I don't think the colours are accurate because the blue colour of this ring is actually not that fluorescent. It's got a bit more of a darker tone to it. But anyway, we'll make the best of a bad situation. So, yep, I'm working my way through that. The instructions are in Russian, but I'm working it out. Luckily, because this is a brooch and it comes with all the bits to make it into a brooch, the part where you assemble it into a brooch, they do have an very limited English section, but I'll be able to work it out. So hopefully I'll have that guy finished. Actually, that reminds me, I've got a nice little sheepy brooch on there. I don't know if you spotted that, but I think I bought that off. I bought that ages ago to go to a yarn festival before the whole COVID thing hit. Yeah, but that's kind of cute. And the other thing that I have been gradually working on over the last 2 days is I've been making these bags, as some of you know, because you already own them. and I've started to work on another couple of panels. So I've created that one, and that will become a lovely bag. And I've got this little chubby owl knitting. So I'm working on those two at the moment, and I really like picking out all the colours for it. I do put a bit of thought into it because on this particular one I've tried to select colours that are within that picture. I think about placement, so you know, I'm not putting browns too close together, I'm not putting solid colours too close together and things like that, and I am planning on embellishing that. I've already put a little bit of lace trim across the top there to make it like a cake shop. I don't know if you can, yeah, see that one? You know, when you go to a cake shop and they have lace doilies and lovely things everywhere. But look at that little bear down there dancing across the bag. So there's some cute fabric, and may have some more fabric in my For Me From Me section, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So I'm going to be working on those. Now, if you that have been watching know that I gifted my sister Frog and Toad last week, and I do plan on knitting her a Pinocchio. Well, I'm hoping to knit two, one for me and one for her. I can't remember, I haven't written the designer's name down, but I'll put that on the screen, and I'll put a little picture here of the pattern that I'm going to be knitting, and I'll show you what I've bought in the For Me From Me section with regard to that. So I think that was all the things that I have got coming up that I'm planning on making, and I have got a few things that I have bought for Mill and I to do as a craft thing together. And Mill has suggested that we try and organise, and when I say we, I mean she organises for us to do a YouTube live where we are going to make our lunch, sit down and have some lunch and do some crafting. I'm going to send up the kits that I've bought for her, and we will do them together, and you guys, as you've got time, you can pop in, you can have lunch with us. That's the plan, that's what we've talked about, so we'll see how we go organising that. But yeah, so there's that. So the next thing I'll tell you about is the Etsy shop, and it's such a good one. I'm so thrilled with what I bought from this lady, so I'll just go and grab that and I'll run you through that. I stumbled across her shop and quickly bought something. I was so impressed, and this lady's Etsy store is called Into the Wildwood Ratty, and she is Bronwyn, and she has only got 34 sales in her shop. This was so beautifully packaged, so well thought out. It came in a lovely box. I'll show you the box. I've opened it so that I don't make a big racket and everything. So the box that it came in has this lovely cover on it, which is, I would say that's one of her stamps that she makes, and that's what this kit involves, is handmade stamps. So this kit cost me $58, and the first thing I got when I opened it was this lovely card, also handmade, hand stamped, a lovely note on the back of it, like a long note on the back, and she tells me that she's available if I've got any questions or I have any trouble with it, so to get in touch with her. She had included a couple of extras for me because I was one of the first customers for this year, and yeah, so a really nice note, well thought out. Now, what I got in this kit, and this was the gift she sent me, so this is a pack of blank cards so that I can practice on these before I go in with the real deal on my bag. She also included a small bag for me to keep my stamps in, so I could stamp that as well. There is some fantastic instructions with pictures. That's her little logo on the top in the wildwood. Block printing kits is what she does. And there's some images down the bottom. And on the other side, more information. So there's definitely no shortage of information on how to use this kit. Now, what I got in the kit was 3 different coloured paints. So I got this lovely turquoisey colour. And on the front, there we go, that says Wildwood Textile Ink. I'm really looking forward to trying this, and I thought maybe I could make some bags and things with it. I got a lovely green colour. I mean, you could mix these colours together and get other colours, but I got 3 colours. I think you could buy different colours separately if you wanted to, but I thought, oh well, I'll give it a go with these ones. A lovely red. And I got 2 large sponges and a half sponge. And she actually says in the instructions that the half sponge works really well to apply the ink. So, yep. I got some, well, they're bigger than icy pole sticks, but like icy pole sticks to spread things around, smooth things over. And then I got 3 stamps, and they were all wrapped up in this really cool retro fabric, which they were all bound with some lovely twine, and I'll be able to use that fabric. I'm going to iron that and put that in my stash. Or you could even actually continue reusing it, like you wrap your stamps up in it just to keep them nice. Now the stamps themselves are stunning, to say the least. So this kit came with 3 stamps. So there's that one, which is a lovely leaf motif. I got like a fancy snowflake style one. Really pretty. Really thick wood, easy to grip onto and everything. And a long thin one that you could use as a border as well. So really nice, really well packaged, really well thought out. And this is the canvas bag that I got, which is a great size, perfect as a library bag, carry bag, yarn bag. So in the next 2 weeks I am going to be having a go at that, and I will show you what I ended up with after having a go at that. But Bronwyn was very helpful, and I highly recommend going and visiting her shop. And our kits make a lovely gift for that creative person, and I mean, if somebody gave me this as a gift, I would be stoked. She's got cleaning instructions on the stamps and things like that on these pages, so really, really well thought out kit, I think. And I will be really looking forward to having a go with that, Bronwyn. Hopefully no phone calls required. Hopefully I will be able to work it out. So yeah, Bronwyn's my Etsy seller this week, and I highly recommend her, and I urge you to go over and get your own kit. Let's make our own tote bags together. Alright, well I think that's everything. I do have the For Me From Me section, but if you're not interested in that, that's perfectly fine. I completely understand. I definitely watch For Me From Me sections with other people, and I go straight off and buy the stuff, so I get it, I know. But if you have joined me this far and you've enjoyed the podcast, give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you. I love it that you come back every week and watch my podcast, and it's great to get your feedback. So if there's anything that you want to tell me about or what you're up to, leave me a message down below. I really love reading them. I love going through them. I love reading them to my husband, and I tell Mill all about them as well. So, yep. Rusty's on the move. Where are you going, Rusty? I just had to take a quick break there because it's his dinner time and he gets real antsy. I just had to feed him, so he's fed. But, yep, if you've joined us and you're heading off now, thanks so much, and I'll see you in 2 weeks, and hopefully there'll be lots more goodies to talk about. But for the rest of us, let's see what I've been buying. Okay, well, this has been interesting because I've just recorded that whole section and realised I forgot to press play. Yeah, love it when that happens. Alright, I can do it. I can do it again. I am going to have a little gin and tonic after this, so I'm looking forward to that. It's getting later in the day, so we're losing the light. Hopefully it's okay, but let's have a look at what I've got for the second time. Alright, as previously discussed, Mill and I are going to be doing some kits. So I have bought some kits, and I've bought all the bits, and I'll show you what I've got. Most of this stuff I've bought off Etsy, so I will definitely put the links in so that if you guys, when you join us for our big YouTube thing, you want to get these bits, you can. So I've bought 2 of these. Mill and I have done needle punching before without much success. Mill bought a needle punch for us. It did not look like this one. It was much smaller. We tried it, it didn't work, it was really frustrating, we had high hopes and it did not pan out. I've done a heap of reviews. I've looked at a heap of reviews, and these ones got a pretty good rap. They were about $6 for memory, so not big money. And look, how bad can it be? It says quality product right there. So, hey? Quality product. Must be. So I'm hoping that we have a bit more success with these. Apparently, during the course of my research on this, the biggest problem is people use the wrong fabric. So I did some research and I found out what the right fabric to use is. And it's this stuff. It's not expensive. It's like a heavy duty, it's almost like the old flour sacks, I would liken it to. It's got a very open weave, like a very high count Ada. I don't know where this has been stored, but it's got that natural smell about it. And we will definitely have to wash this fabric at some point in time. But it's not dirty or anything like that. It's perfectly clean. I'd say it's probably some of the chemicals that they use whilst making this fabric. But yeah, it's got a distinct aroma. But yeah, so I'm going to cut this. This is a fair old chunk. I've bought quite an amount. We must be going to make a ton of these things. I'm going to cut this fabric in half, and I'm going to send Mill her half and her punch needle, and hopefully this time round, Mill, we have a little bit more luck with that. We were both very frustrated on the last lot. And the other thing that I've bought for us, and I've actually bought a couple of other things, but they haven't turned up yet, but I've bought a couple of felt kits. Now, I've bought this one for Mill, little kitty cat. I haven't opened it because I'm going to package it all straight down to her. And for me, I've bought this little fox. But as I said, I've got another couple coming, so hopefully our finished items look in the ballpark of these guys because they're adorable. And I've also bought for us, they're packaged in these foam things, but it's a set of the felting pins, and there's a small, medium and a large in here, and that's what they look like. Dangerous weapons in the right hands. So hopefully Mill and I can our felt animals and make them look amazing. But I'm going to keep that in there so that because if that's left lying around, I will definitely stab myself. So that's what I've got so far in the way of kits for me and Mill, or Mill and I. And there will be some other things that we're planning for this YouTube live that we're going to do. I'm not quite sure how long YouTube live let you run for. I've got sun coming in now. I'm telling you guys, I've been up against it with this podcast. I'm trying to keep an upbeat disposition about the whole thing. But yeah, now the sun's coming in, but hey ho. Yeah, so with the YouTube, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Especially, like as I said, it's going to run for a while, and hopefully different time zones, because there's a lot of people internationally that watch the podcast that I think would like to pop in and join us. So hopefully Mill's going to sort that out. Now, the other thing that I want to get on to, and I've made a purchase to do so, is these bunnies, which Julia gifted me. They are also made out of felt, like the little Thistle bunny that I showed you earlier. Rosie Rabbit. Isn't she sweet? And on the back, they've got a picture of the three of them. Whoops. The three of them. One with pink, blue, and yellow ears. So with that in mind, I ordered some more fabric. And I always order my fabric from the same lady, and she is, where's my glasses? Sally Dixon Creations. And because she actually designs her own little felt things that you can make, but she sells the wool felt, and she packaged it in this. Look how, I love stuff like that. So cute. Came in this lovely tissue paper, so I'll be keeping that for something. And I ordered a few different colours because, as I said, I plan on making the bunnies. And I actually also thought that I might make another one of those thistle down rabbits in a different colour, maybe a white one. So I bought, these are the fabrics that I've bought, as you can see, all sort of pastel-y. There's a mint, a yellow, pink. I got 2 whites and a blue. She has got a huge selection. These are 100% wool felt. If you're going to make these toys, guys, go for the 100%, you know, wool quilt, wool felt, because if you go for the cheaper stuff, it stretches, it doesn't last. You've put your time and energy into making these things. You want them to stand the test of time. These sheets work out to be about $4.50-ish each. But you can get, like, they're not normally big. You can get a lot out of them. Yeah, my thought process is that if you're going to sit there and spend hours and hours making something, buy the best quality that you can to make it out of, because, you know, you want it to last. I've always kind of thought that, even when we were sort of a lot younger and we didn't have a lot, we didn't have a lot of money or anything like that, and I used to knit the jumpers for the kids. I would always buy the good wool because I just thought I want it to last. I want them to be able to wear them for years. Mill used to wear them, her brother used to wear them. Yeah, so I've kind of always had that mentality, but that's that. It's also all about what you can afford at the time. But you know, back in the day, lay-by. People don't even know what that is anymore. I used to do lay-by. I was a lay-by queen. I don't think people even... And the other thing that I used to do that you can't seem to do anymore is a Christmas club. I used to have a bank book, a paper, real life paper bank book, and I used to put $5 in it every week ready for Christmas. And then one year I went in to say, I want to open my Christmas club. Well, we don't do that anymore. Anyway, some things should not leave because they teach people to budget, don't they? Now, I have a confession to make, a little confession. I bought some yarn for the Pinocchio dolls that I plan on making for my sister and I. And like I said, this is my second time filming it. And in the first episode of filming this, I showed you all the goodies that I got. And some of the goodies that I got in the Balmain yarns from this company. In fact, I've got a picture of lovely Yasmin. Look at her sweet, sweet smiley face, lovely lady. She packages these things like no other. In the first episode, I showed you all the packaging, which I've now ripped off and it's gone to God, but I'll show you the paper. Better than nothing. So it was all wrapped up in this lovely beach themed paper, super fun colours, so bright. Look at that lady with her legs up in the air doing a dive bomb or whatever, ice creams and everything. It was packaged so lovely, which I did show you, and there was some lollies in it. And for whatever reason, I cannot show you those lollies now. But there was a packet of tea in it, and I can show you that. So there was a lovely packet of tea. It was all held together with this nice little little coily thing that you use in scrapbooking. So I'm going to put that in my scrapbook. She always includes a little thank you package that's got some nice little bits and pieces in it, and I appreciate that so much. This is her little business card that she put in it. So there's that, and I will show you the yarn that she gave me, or that I purchased from her. So as I said, this, keeping in mind this is for the Pinocchio doll that I'm going to make for my sister and I. So this is not the yarn that was used in the pattern, but I think this will do a good job as well. And where do I put my glasses? There they are. So I got 8 balls, and I got Boulder Opal, which is a nice little sort of a mushroomy brown colour. It is actually darker than it appears in the camera there. But yeah, that's for the Pinocchio body. I got this nice red colour, which is called Red Jasper. And the way, I mean, look, none of us really know how to pronounce this, do we? Do we? But I watched the New Leaf podcast ages ago, and she said the way you say it, the beginning of it, is like you say school. So I always say scapies. Scapies. I don't know. I don't know if that's right. I say scapies. So, yep. She said it several times, and I tried to copy the way she was saying it because, let's face it, as I said, none of us really know how to say that word. I don't think. Maybe you do. I don't. And a lot of podcasters that I've watched showing this yarn don't know how to say it. So this one is called Instatic. A nice sort of mustardy green colour. I got Lemare, a nice sort of a rusticy minty colour. I got just a black. This one does not have a name, it's just a number, which is 803. I got Moonstone, which I've used many times before because this is the yarn that I use for my Animal and Friends that I've made in the past, that I made last year. So I've got that one. And last but not least, I've got Crystal Quartz, which is, I would call that like a blue-grey colour that I've selected there. So, yep, really nice colours. So I'm hoping that since I'm having this sort of a 2-week break from mega knitting, that I can get my test knit done and get my Pinocchios started. So that when I'm doing my test knit, I can do the test knit, and then for a bit of breathing space I can do my Pinocchios. That's my game plan anyway. Love a good plan. And the last thing that I've purchased, and I will tell you there is a little bit of a story to this one. I have this tape measure that it's got a magnet on the back of it, and I've got a set of metal drawers here that I use, and I stick it to the side. I've got a couple of things here that I love. M from Carter and Brown included this in the package that she gave me for Christmas, and I love it too because it's also got a magnet. So handy to have them right there whenever you need scissors, whenever you need a tape measure. I mean, we are in a craft room. Scissor, tape measure, essentials. But unfortunately the other day I was using this guy, and the mechanism that holds the tape measure stops it from going back in. Let go. I don't know. I mean, I think I've had this tape measure probably for 5 years, and I've tried fiddling around. I tried to see if I could pull it apart and fix it, but I couldn't. So I thought, well, I'm going to have to get another one. So I was on the hunt for exactly the same. I want exactly the same. I don't want one that hasn't got a magnet on it or anything like that. Found it. Ta-da! Found it. So I bought this, and just to make doubly certain, I got this guy and this guy as well. So I got 3. They had 3 colours. I got each colour. I think they were a $3.95 each. So I was pretty happy to find that. And I got these from, where are my glasses? Wattle Hill Fabrics here in Queensland. And my thought was, I just had a terrible moment there. I was like, is this a recording? Yes, it is. Calm down, everybody. Anyway, I thought if I'm looking at these, I need to have a look and see what else she's got on her website, because why wouldn't you? Now, I think the name suggests Wattle Hill Fabrics, that she has fabric. So I bought some fabrics. They were all in the clearance bin except for one. So I'll show you what I got. I got this lovely one, which is mauve, with like a mustard leaf and that little apricot-y colour internal flower. So I thought that was quite a pretty colour. Showing up a little bit grey, I think, but it's pretty. I got this one because who does not love a blue-based pink with white dots? Perfect. Got that guy. I got a metre of each of these. I bought this one, which is a lovely daisy. I love this green. Again, it's showing up a little bluish. blue-grey, which is a little bit more vivid than that, which is a shame that it's not showing up as nicely as it is. But I like this minty green because I've noticed I use that colour green quite a bit, so it's nice to have something to team with it. And when this one arrived, I was like, oh, should I get a dress quantity in this? I loved this one. I mean, I even had it up in the bathroom and I was like, oh, this colour. Yeah, I could wear this colour. This looks good on me. I think I'll order a dress quantity. And then I was like, lady, listen to yourself. You've still got dress quantity from last year that you haven't knit up. Am I right, Julia? And knit up, sewn up. So I was like, no, you're not buying it. You don't need it. Just have the meter and be happy. If you get that other dress put together, then you can buy it. So, yeah. But I did buy this one at full price. And when I was looking at the other ones, I was like putting it in my basket, taking it out, putting it in my basket, taking it out. I'm like, I don't need it, I don't need it. And in the end, I was just like, I'm getting it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's so cute. It's got little bilbies with Easter eggs. The colours, lovely minty green and the pink. So pretty. Maybe I'll make myself a little Easter bag out of it. We'll see if that happens. Maybe it'll just go in the stash till next Easter. That's probably what will happen. Alright, so I think that's everything. Take two. No, that's everything. That is everything. I have had a thoroughly enjoyable 2 weeks making all my crafty bits. I don't know why, I felt like I've had a bit more time. Sometimes I get up in the morning, before I know it, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was like, did I zone out? Like, what has happened to the day? It just goes by so fast. But I found in the last 2 weeks I seem to have had a bit more time to do stuff, so that's been good. I always have big plans of getting heaps done, and I'm always disappointed in myself when I don't get everything that I want to get done. But yep, I've got a few things to do in the next 2 weeks, so I should have quite a bit to share with you guys in 2 weeks' time. Let me know what you're working on. I really want to know what people are making. Are you going to try something new this year in terms of craft? Are you going to try a new craft project, a new thing? I mean, we can all keep doing the knitting, but what else do you think you might have a go at? I'd love to know. I'm always interested in finding new crafts, trying new crafts, buying stuff for new crafts. So let me know. Alright, well, it is really getting gloomy outside. I think we are definitely in for a thunderstorm tonight. We had one last night, and I think we're going to get another one tonight. Yeah. But we are in the wet season here in Queensland, and that's what happens. Alright guys, I will see you in 2 weeks. Look after yourselves, stay safe, stay well, and happy crafting.